there are situations, whether it's for a medical reason or another reason, where you don't have sex for an extended period and you like fall out of the habit of having sex. And the question is, how do you reconnect when it's what both of you want, but your bodies aren't used to it? Your souls aren't oriented to it. They've needed to be oriented so that you can navigate whatever circumstances you're in. Again, I want to emphasize, this is a situation where it hasn't been possible to have sex. It's been the right decision not to, but it's not because you're not attracted to one another or fantasizing about someone else. It's because you care about one another's health and well-being. So now the break is over, or at least it could be, but it's sort of awkward to find your way, and you need to find your way to one another again. So if you're in any version of this kind of scenario, I want to offer you a bunch of different options. One thing you can do is basically take your situation and dial it all the way up and pretend that you're on a first date. Go out to eat, have it be the first date, do the flirtation and tap into the newness. That's a really great tip for lots of circumstances where if it's awkward, just lean all the way in and make it work for you. So if you're not sure how to reconnect with one another, just role play. It's a first date. Have so much fun together. And in a way, it doesn't even matter if you have sex, but you are so much more likely to if you have those vibes going. So that is one way to do it. Another way to do it is to just start by both of you just sharing all of the awkwardness and concerns. You can take turns. I feel awkward or concerned about this. I feel awkward about that. What if it's going to hurt? What if you're not going to be happy? What if I don't have an orgasm? What if I come too quickly? Like in this kind of a situation, our mind chatter is not quiet. And there is something that is super vulnerable, but also very cleansing and connecting to just share all the mind chatter and move on. And just to be clear, if you do choose this method, do not share a mind chatter about the other person. This is mind chatter in the first person. So you could say, I'm afraid you won't find me attractive, but do not say, I'm afraid I won't be attracted to you. That is not going to be helpful in this situation. You want to take responsibility and be concerned about what your impact and your experience will be and not express concerns about some failing of the other person. This is kind of a high level of play. If you are not in the habit of sharing what your deep fears and concerns are, this is not the circumstance in which to do that for the first time. But if you are, do it on this topic. It will be very powerful. If that's not something that you want to do with your partner, because it could be a downer if you don't know how to connect with this much depth and truth and vulnerability, then it's also quite effective to just take a piece of paper and just write it all down, because the point here is to express it so it's not lurking and manipulating your thoughts. You just express it, and that will help you relieve those concerns. And if they linger, they just won't have the same power over you. Okay, a third option for how to reconnect in this kind of scenario where it's been quite a while since you've had sex together for circumstances outside your control, then the third method I'm suggesting is to slow way down, to put on some slow music and really take your time, relax, open, and have a kind of goalless sensual exploration, which honestly, it's important that you do this with the attitude that it may or may not lead to sex. But since that's what you both want, and you're going to be relaxed and connected, no rush, No pressure. I hope that this functions to inspire your creativity when you reconnect after what has felt like enough time apart, sexually speaking, to kind of get back in the groove. Consider role playing that it's the first time. Consider clearing out the mental chatter with one another or on paper, and consider slowing down, prioritizing your breath, almost engaging in what I could best describe as a sensual meditation and letting things simmer and then bubble. As soon as you reconnect in that way, the months of not being sexually active just fall away and don't really matter anymore. So I really hope that this serves you in if you're in a situation like this right now, and that you keep this in mind. And my goal with this episode is to take the complication out of your relationship once those circumstances have resolved.